The smartest person in the room is never the loudest. It's not the one with the title. It's not the one trying to prove something. It's the one who's calm, focused, watching. The one who listens more than they speak. The one who knows that dominance doesn't come from yelling louder. It comes from thinking faster and acting smarter. So if you've ever been underestimated, if you've ever walked away from a conversation thinking, I should have said this, or if you've ever felt like someone else always has the upper hand, then listen up. Because today, I'm giving you 5 rules, not for being aggressive, not for being arrogant, but for being unshakable. This is how you outsmart anyone. Let me tell you something that most people will never understand, because most people are too damn reactive. They're triggered, emotional, impulsive, and they think that being quick to respond somehow makes them smart. It doesn't. It makes them predictable. It makes them easy to control. And if you want to outsmart anyone, truly outsmart them, you need to do the exact opposite. You need to master the pause. The pause is your power. The pause is the moment between what someone says and how you choose to respond. It's the breath before the reaction. It's the beat before the decision. And most people never even notice that moment exists because they're so busy reacting. Someone disrespects them. They lash out. Someone challenges them. They defend. Someone talks down to them. They try to prove themselves. And all of it is weakness disguised as strength. Real power is silent. Real intelligence doesn't need to prove anything. And when you pause, when you take a second, breathe, and think, you take control of the entire situation. That pause creates space, and in that space you make better choices, you choose better words, and you operate from intention, not impulse. Let me give you a real example. Someone once tried to humiliate me in front of a room full of people, called me out, challenged my credibility, tried to bait me into a fight. And I'll be honest, my ego flared up immediately. My heart rate went up. I felt that surge of energy that says, say something, defend yourself, prove them wrong. But I didn't. I paused. I let them talk. I let them reveal everything about their insecurity, their need for attention, their lack of control. And when they finished, I looked them in the eye, smiled, and calmly asked, are you done? That was it. That pause shattered their control of the room. Because while they were trying to overpower me emotionally, I was already 10 moves ahead mentally. That's what the pause gives you, leverage. It gives you the power to assess the situation instead of getting absorbed by it. And that's what people don't get when you pause. You're not freezing or backing down. You're calculating. You're watching. You're giving the other person just enough space to show their hand. And most of the time they will. They'll over-explain, overreach, or overreact. And you? You stay grounded. This applies everywhere. Your relationships, your business, your career. You get an angry email? Pause. Don't reply in the heat of the moment. You get criticized in a meeting? Pause. Don't go into defense mode. You feel disrespected. Pause. Breathe. Don't let your ego write checks your future self has to pay for. Because here's the truth. If someone can control your reaction, they can control you. Read that again. When you react instantly, you're not responding from power. You're reacting from programming. You're letting old wounds, insecurities, and fear take the wheel. But when you pause, you're stepping outside the loop. You're choosing a conscious response. And that 1 second of awareness can change the outcome of everything. You want to outsmart people. Start here. Start with control. Start by choosing not to take the bait. Start by understanding that the calmest person in the room is almost always the most dangerous. Not because they're quiet, but because they're calculating. And if you're serious about becoming that person, that force, that presence that no one can shake, then you better learn to fall in love with the pause. Because that's where your power lives. That's where dominance begins. Not in shouting, not in snapping back, but in standing still and thinking. That's how you win. If there's one thing people do that sabotages their own power before they even get started, it's this: they talk too much. They announce every goal, every intention, every move like they're trying to win applause for just having an idea. But here's the truth: people don't need to know your plans. They need to see your results. Because when you broadcast your moves, you give away the one thing that gives you an edge, the element of surprise. Let me tell you something. Silence isn't weakness. Silence is strategy. The smartest people in the room aren't the ones talking about what they're going to do. They're the ones already doing it while everybody else is still hyping themselves up. You don't need validation. You don't need to prove anything. You need to stay focused, stay quiet, and execute. You want to outsmart people. Make them guess. Make them wonder. Let them underestimate you. Because when they think they know what you're up to, they start preparing for that version of you. And when you stay quiet, when you move in silence, they have nothing to prepare for, nothing to defend against. You blindside them with progress. This applies to everything. Your next career move, your business idea, even how you deal with toxic people. Stop telling people what you're planning. Stop oversharing your process. Because the more you speak, the more they know. And the more they know, the more they can use against you, whether consciously or unconsciously. People are not always rooting for you. That's the reality. Some people are just collecting information so they can feel better when you fail. Some people are waiting for you to trip, not cheering for you to win. So stop giving them the script to your life. When I was building something big behind the scenes, people kept asking me, "So what are you working on now? What's next for you?" And I just smile and say, "You'll see." That's it. Not because I didn't trust them, but because I trusted my focus more. I wasn't going to dilute my energy explaining something that wasn't finished. I wasn't going to let other people's doubts, opinions, or distractions get in my head. Because once you start letting people in too early, you give their words a seat at your decision-making table. And that is the fastest way to derail your own momentum. Understand this. People can't attack what they can't see. They can't compete with what they don't know exists. And they can't stop what's already done. So move in silence. Work in silence. Build in silence. Let your results be so loud that people have to ask, when did that happen? And your answer, while you were watching, I was working. Look around. How many people do you know who talk big and never deliver? How many people are addicted to announcing new goals every month and never hitting them? You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be noise. You want to be impact. You want to be results. And results don't come from talking. They come from discipline, execution, and strategy. And here's the real kicker: the moment you stop needing to be seen is the moment you become unstoppable. Because you're no longer performing. You're no longer trying to be impressive. You're just doing what needs to be done quietly, relentlessly, without distraction. So the next time you feel the urge to tell everyone your plans, stop. Remind yourself silence isn't hiding. Silence is power. You don't need to be loud to be dominant. You just need to be precise, focused, unpredictable. That's how you outsmart anyone. Let them sleep on you. Let them think they've got you figured out. Then show up with something they never saw coming. Let's talk about something that either builds your power or destroys it. Your emotions. Most people think being emotional means being real, being honest, being passionate. And yes, emotion is human. It's natural. But when it comes to outsmarting people, dominating in high-stakes situations, or getting what you truly want, emotion is not for public display. It's for internal use only. The moment you start showing emotion to prove a point, to gain sympathy, or to fight back, you've already lost control. Not because emotion is weak, but because uncontrolled emotion is. Your emotion is fuel, not a performance. It's the thing that wakes you up at 5 a.m., not the thing you shout at someone in an argument. It's what pushes you through 10 rejections in a row, not the tears you let fall when someone disrespects you in a meeting. If you want to outsmart people, truly outmaneuver them mentally, you've got to learn how to feel deeply and act strategically. Let me be crystal clear. This doesn't mean you become cold. It means you become in command. That fire you feel inside when someone doubts you, use it to level up. That anger that rises when someone takes credit for your work, use it to sharpen your focus and play the long game. That fear you feel before taking a risk, use it as data. Fear means you're stepping into growth. You don't let those emotions hijack you. You turn them into intel. The most powerful people aren't the ones who don't feel. They're the ones who've trained themselves to channel their feelings into fuel. They walk into rooms where they're not respected, and they don't demand it. They earn it. Quietly, consistently, because they're not wasting energy on emotional outbursts. They're using that energy to win.